Previously
Stand-up
on
comedian
Chilling.
Dr.Hilary is back with part 2 of his mash hit show, Uganda Must Laugh. It's not the first time that you've had a show at National Theatre. This is actually going to be like the third edition?
It's
third?
Let me see. The first show I did was in 2022 was called Laugh at My People.
Okay.
Then
so the first one was
Laugh at My People. Yeah.
So now you're laughing at what?
I finished laughing at my people. So now I said I can't laugh alone. Now Uganda, we must laugh.
The SST, it affects the DSTV, it affects. I don't know what she said, but it was something about money. And so if you waste money, you won't be able to go to school. And if you're not able to go to school, you will not succeed, and you will be like that guy.
This is Chilling.
Good evening, Uganda, and a very warm welcome to the best of the good life. It's very fantastic to have you back on Chilling. More than ever, my name is Drago. This is the second part. We've had Dr. Hilary since the other week, and the same week he had an amazing show, I believe, that sold out. Okay, they say that behind every successful cheer, there's a stand-up comedian who doesn't want to sit down. Have you heard that?
And I've already sat down.
Dr. Hilary's antics online have gained him adoration and nationwide, which has made him a household name.
Very interesting. Have you noticed the way they warn their children? The way they warn you. It's just amazing, right? It's the most sophisticated, very confusing. I remember one time I was 7 years old, right? From what I've seen, I've been to supermarkets, right? And I've seen a woman, I think she was from America or something. And the child was walking within the aisles of the supermarket. And she hit, I think, a bag of sugar. The sugar spilled. Do you know this lady knelt down to explain to the child what the child had done? Like, they were just walking around, she hit sugar, the sugar poured. So like, no, Jonathan, you do not have to pour sugar, you know. When you pour sugar, you're wasting money, which affects the GDP. And the SST, it affects the DSTV, it affects.
Dr. Hilary, I mean, this adoration, people admiring you nationwide, is amazing.
It's good.
They are telling you, some of them are whispering in your ears, telling you could be the flag bearer of this.
I would like to send a special shout out to all the fans who always buy tickets, because those are the MVPs. Everyone who supports us online, you know, because not everyone can watch the shows. And people will ask you, but Hilary, why do you always put your content online, you know, this and that? Yeah. But I like putting it online.
By the way, why?
I like, because not everyone can attend the show.
It's intellectual property.
Yes, but not everyone can attend the show.
Okay.
You know, I met, when I came here to Fairway, the security guard who met me was very happy. He said, doctor, I'm always watching your content. You're always making us happy. My wife is a big fan of yours. Thank you so much. And then, now, that's a person who, my show is happening at night, and he's here working. You see what I mean? So he doesn't have the opportunity to come and watch you live. But then you put it on his device. So that even when he's at work here, he's enjoying what he's doing.
Why I was arguing about intellectual property and how you can, you know,
monetize that.
Yeah, monetize and get so much rewards from this kind of content. Like, for example, you saw what Anne did. For those that went and watched the roasting,
the comedy roast,
enjoyed, but she hasn't released her content. She's waiting for the right timing. Maybe she could strike a deal with MalChoice or any other platform that can, you know, avail the content. Doesn't that sit with you?
No, but we shall get there.
Okay.
I think also it's important not to rush.
Okay.
We need to appreciate that we're in a digital era.
Okay.
Where one single video can change your life. I'll give an example of Basket Mouth. Basket Mouth,
the Nigerian comedian.
That joke of two things involved changed his career, right?
How old is that thing?
It's very old. It's very old.
Tell me it's more than 11 years old.
It's very old. The joke of Clint the Drunk,
Yeah.
the reggae song, it changed his life. But that is social media. That is people watching you and saying, I like this guy. So that's why I also put content out there, because you never know who is watching it. I have done gigs out of the country simply because of some of the content that's online. So you can post a video online and get, let's say, 1 million views. But all it takes is one phone call. From those 1 million, all it takes is one person calling you and saying, Hilary, we have a gig in Malawi, or we have a gig in the UK, would like you to come and perform, how much do you charge? Then that's when it pays off. But also, the monetization you're talking about, all my social media is monetized, right? So you're making...
Verified and
monetized. Not all are I have some that are verified, some aren't. But I've monetized Facebook, I've monetized YouTube. TikTok is not yet monetized in Africa, but we shall get there. And then I have a website, hilaryokello.com. That as well, we are monetizing it this year. So what you're talking about is getting my content, I'll put it on my website, and then you sell it to people. So the next time I have a big show, you film it and produce it well, put it on your website, and then sell it for a cost.
Okay.
And then that's how you can make money directly from your fan base.
Okay.
But then with time, as you're building your brand and growing, then you can, of course, approach Showmax, Prime Video, Netflix. For me, I know for sure I'm going to have a show on Netflix.
I would love to use this word of inspiring, because somebody can sort of not understand the aspect of inspiring. But who was some of the people that you've looked up to in this field? Let's say in the field of entertainment in general.
If I limit it to stand-up in Uganda first, the people I look up to the most, and I've met them a couple of times and I've worked with them, are people like Salvador. Salvador has helped me.
He's a good guy.
He's a very good guy. As a person, I know him as a friend. We've done so many shows together. People like Anne Kansime, I've worked with her on very many projects.
You're friends with the Fun Factory, right?
Fun Factory, also my guys. I'm there once in a while. They supported me a lot in many of my shows. There are a lot of comedians. Pablo is somebody I've always worked with, Daniel O'Mara, but that's just Uganda. So now you go out of Uganda and there are people you look at, you look at people like Basket Mouth, Bovi, Lois Ogola, Trevor Noah,
I was going to say, I'm waiting for you to go beyond Africa.
Yes.
So now
that's just Africa. Now, beyond Africa, you look at people like George Carlin. You look at people like Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K. You look at people like Kevin Hart. These are people, Jim Gaffigan. These are comedians who you look at and say, now that's where I want to be in a couple of years.
Doctor, who is the greatest comedian of all time? Of all time, it's hard. Dead or alive?
It's hard to tell.
I have one.
You
have one. Let me first tell you. Is it hard for you because you are a comedian?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me. Yeah,
because you look at it in different spectrums.
Because they all have different aspects that make them better than each other.
Barney Mac
is good.
The greatest comedian to ever walk this earth.
I would argue, but I appreciate your love for him.
No, I do.
We recognize that you're a big fan of his. Barney Mac is good. No, Barney Mac is good.
He was sensational. Like, he was so unapologetic. He was, of course, to the American standard and their profanity. He's a guy who would come and
he doesn't care.
He
doesn't care. He'll say it as it is.
He would come, like, for example, it will be a story for another day. You tell me yours.
One comedian that I really look up to in terms of comedy, he passed away.
The greatest of all time.
The greatest of all time.
The GOAT.
It's really hard to choose.
No, you have to.
It's hard to choose. I can give you.
Give me three.
Even three. Okay, let me give you three. I was going to give you four.
Give me four.
Let me give you four.
Yeah.
In that list, I have Dave Chappelle.
Oh, Dave Chappelle.
I have Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor. That's the
Richard
OG.
Pryor was the first guy to do a comedy special.
Okay.
In the US and I think in the world. It's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
In that list, I have Louis C.K. I'm a very big fan of his comedy.
Okay, good.
Then there's Cat Williams. So those are top dogs.
That's a good
list. Those are top dogs.
That's a good list. Cat Williams is also crazy.
Cat Williams is good. Yeah.
So what is it that you admire with these people? Are you the kind of person that gets inspired from watching them, their specials, and picking tips, one or two? Because at times for me, if I want to be motivated or to pick presentational skills, I look at other presenters.
You see what
and
others do.
Yeah, and I don't imitate the same.
Yeah, but you learn what aspects about them
the
makes
style,
them stand
the
out.
jargon, how
Yeah.
do they carry themselves, the
Yeah.
mannerisms,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you also adopt that?
I think it's part of what it takes to be a good artist.
Okay.
Is to appreciate other artists. I'm one of those comedians who watches a lot of stand-up specials. But you watch them, at first you watch as a fan. So I'll watch a special twice. I'll watch it first as a fan and laugh from beginning to end. And then I'll come and replay it and I watch it as a student.
Okay.
So you'll watch a Cat Williams special and then when it's done, you'll go and refresh it, you come back now and watch and take notes of what did he do here that made the joke nice? What did he say here that made this punchline better than, you know? So that's it.
So how is your creative process like? How do you come up with material? I know, for example, you said you're a method comedian. Like you look within your surroundings and you're like, let me say jokes that, you know, are affecting me, that are surrounding me in my own locality. But how do you like really pen them down to make a meaning?
Every day, I think let me see if I can pick my phone here.
You're kidding. Every day you write
every day I write ideas.
Your notepad is full.
Every day I write ideas. Because for me, it's more than just, let me show you something. So you see this?
Wow.
So when you scroll, those are over 100.
Guys, I'm looking at joke ideas.
Those are all ideas.
From Dr.Hilary.
Just read like one idea. Just pick like one.
And they're randomly?
Randomly, just pick like
I just wanted to see the whole of them.
And that's just one. That's one app. I have like 4
I just
apps.
kept on scrolling. This is about 349.
Now those are all ideas.
350.
Those are all
and
ideas.
you're not scared if I speak one out?
No, they're just ideas. They're not jokes. So they're just ideas.
They're just ideas.
There's ideas.
So you first create an idea,
Yeah.
and this idea spans into a full-fledged
It spans into
joke.
a full-fledged joke, yes.
Okay, so like for example, idea 158, that's 158, says World Cup, Uganda, Northern Coach, and there's a fire emoji.
So now that idea is, I was thinking, what would happen if Uganda went for World Cup? You know, and
with a Ugandan coach,
with a northern coach, and our coach, and now in that joke you'll talk about how, for me, I think that the coach should.
It's already funny.
You see what I mean?
You're crazy.
For me, I think the coach should be a northerner. You
Wow.
see, so then that's an idea that stays in your mind, but it's until when I sit down and write it, and then you build it into my.
They would like this one.
Yeah.
149, that's 149, says cheating. Women are confident. Stroke when message pops up on phone while showing partner something. Men go into exclamation mode. Tell me about that.
Women are better than men in such things. So he says there's a lot. There's passport office, visiting rich people.
That's like an entire album plus an EP.
So all these are potential jokes.
Okay.
So you're writing ideas every day.
Yeah.
Then you pick out ideas and then you turn them into stories, and then you fine tune them to make them relatable to the audience, and then that becomes a joke. But that could span. It can be as short as 5 minutes to build a joke, or as long as 3 months.
Okay, Hilary, I'm giving you a chance. You're a good comedian, but let's see if you're a good presenter. Tell them your social and tell them to come back after this break. Look into that camera.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Chilling at, of course, UBC with my man Ibra. My name is Dr.Hilary and I've been your guest tonight. But of course, don't forget, after the break, you can always come back and join us. My name is Dr.Hilary. You can check me out on social media, on X, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever. Dr.Hilary. See you again. God bless.
I give you a bow.
Where do I sign the contract?
That was a good link, Hilary. See you guys after the break for the last part of Chilling.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, They stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
All right, guys, if you're just tuning in, just know that, man, these 2 weeks were just full of jokes. This guy is a true comedian. I like him for so many reasons. First of all, he's a fresh mind, he's young, he's venturing into a field that is full of laughter, and he's so original, authentic himself, you know. Hilary, with you, what you see is what you get.
Exactly.
And that's how you want to
drive
your brand.
And that's how you want to be, yes. You want, I want you to meet me here and meet me on stage and I'm the same person. Okay. And that's what makes a good comedian. Is in comedy is what they call finding your voice. So many comedians struggle finding their voice, but your voice is actually how much of yourself are you on stage. So that's an achievement every comedian wants to have, where you are the same person off and on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, originality is key.
It's
man.
brilliant.
It's
what makes you stand out.
And
it's what makes you stand out.
Yeah.
Because if you're sounding like everyone else, then you get lost in the noise. But if you stand out as a separate person, then you stand tall above everyone's shoulder.
Not so long ago, I hosted Dr. Solomon. I
Dr.
think he's
Solomon,
a friend of yours,
Chimera.
right? Yeah.
I've not yet met him, but he's a very good guy. I'm a follower of his.
He's a good guy. He's a TikToker, funny guy.
Yeah.
But he incorporates, he infuses his comedy through medicine.
Yeah, he's good.
Why haven't you done that? I'm wondering, you're a doctor, a certified one at it, but you've not incorporated your aspect of medicine and whatever into your
I think I don't want to limit myself. It gives you limitations. And especially when you're branding yourself, it becomes hard to jump out of a shell if you've created it. So from the very start, I don't even write jokes about, I don't think I've written jokes about hospitals or whatever. Like, I literally don't. I feel like there's so much to talk about that you can't just limit yourself to that. There's a comedian in South Africa, his name is Riyad Musa. Riyad Musa is, I think he's half Indian, half, I don't know. But he's a really good comedian, and he's a doctor as well. But he also does just random jokes. And that's one of the guys I saw. I said, I should start working the way he does his stuff. So I don't do that because that limits you. You'd rather have an open mind and write a lot of jokes and not limit yourself. Yeah.
What advice have you given to yourself coming into this industry?
Yeah.
Like, what have you got to look up to? Like,
it's important, one, to challenge yourself. So this year is the first time I challenged myself to do 3 shows this year.
wow.
So you challenge yourself. And 3 shows with different content. So it means you're going to write content, release it, write, release, write, release. Then secondly, you have to stay hungry.
Hungry.
It's very easy to be, it's very easy to sort of feel like you've arrived and to feel satisfied with what you've achieved. But if it's only when you stay hungry that you keep chasing. Like Nelson Mandela says, after every mountain there's another mountain. So just because you've climbed this one doesn't mean you've made it. You have to chase the next one. Another thing that's important is to be able to work with everyone.
Okay.
You know, be easy to work with. You know, it's like you DM me, you say, bro, I would like you to be on my show. And I'm available, why won't I come? Yeah. You know. So you have to be likable, be easy to work with.
By the way, I was busy grappling with that.
Yeah.
I was like, will he say no? Will he say like, I'm not available?
Exactly. So some people make it hard for no reason. But for me, I feel like if you are available to do something and to work with people, always do it. So it's easy. It's easy, but it's hard. Even when you're working with promoters, fellow comedians, you know, be someone who, if I'm on the poster with you, you're happy. You're like, I'm with this guy. We're going to have a good time. As compared to saying, this guy is on this show, man. This guy is a lot of work. You know what I mean? So be easy to work with, be friendly, and also put in the effort, put in the work, and surely it pays off.
Something that people will not understand, comedy, being a comedian can be a very stressful work.
Yeah.
The whole burden on your shoulder of making people laugh day in, day out.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
How do you deal with that stress?
It's a lot of work. I think the stress comes from not performing, having a bad show.
How do you mean non-performing?
Not performing is not delivery. So you've been announced to go and perform somewhere, then you go and perform, and let's say you have a bad show. That is where the stress is.
Has it ever happened to you?
It happens, yes.
When?
You have bad
what
shows.
Happened?
You have bad
tell me
shows.
about that.
Here's the thing. What affects a show, especially a comedy, you know, music is way easier. Because a musician comes on stage, you know, you can listen to a musician passively.
Yeah.
There's a musician performing on stage, and you're on your phone as you're drinking beer.
Yeah,
You know, because all you have to do is listen. You don't really have to watch them. But when it comes to stand-up, you have to see the person. So you need attention.
Yeah.
So anything that affects attention in the room will affect the show. So there are shows we have done in bars where there's football, Arsenal is playing Man U. So you're there on the stage, you hear people laugh, hey, you think it is you, it is Onana who has made a mistake. You are there saying, this show is very nice. You don't know it is Onana who has thrown the ball inside.
Yeah.
So such things affect the show. You've done shows in clubs, people are drunk. There's a time a gentleman was on stage and people threw bottles at him. But because they were drunk and it was like 3 a.m., you know, people are tired, they just want to have fun.
It was just not funny.
Now you become a distraction on stage. People don't want to see you. They're like, you leave us alone.
What is a good show to you?
A good show to me is an intimate audience. So an audience where you feel
that
like
you're so critical about it. Why do you feel like the audience has to be with you? It has to be like... It has to be in tandem with whatever you do. Why do you feel like that?
It brings out the best in you. When you know, comedy has a ripple effect, but also it has a sense of reciprocity. If you give me, I will give you as well. So you're going to tell jokes and then people laugh. So that is feedback. So it gives you energy to tell another one, and then, so even your creative process in that moment becomes just how simultaneous and how instantaneous you release jokes, it actually works with the audience. So you're on the same wavelength, they are with you, they are ready, everything you say, they laugh. As a performer, you enjoy that the most. But then there are audiences where you're on stage, and you tell a joke and it flies above everyone's head, and maybe 2 or 3 people. You've seen those shows where only 2 people laugh, but the rest are quiet. You know there's a problem. But most times it's not even an issue with the performer. You find the audience is not as attentive. Sometimes it's a language barrier. They don't understand. Maybe you're performing, but it's a Luganda audience and they don't really like English that much, you know. Yeah. So that becomes a struggle.
But this is some of the things you know before you get on stage.
You know. Now, it's your job as a performer to study the audience.
They're just not mere optics.
Yeah.
Okay, Hilary, man, thank you very much for spending
Thank you so much for having me.
I feel like we could have done this more.
Now we shall get more time.
Because I know behind other aspects, you're a director, you're an actor, you're so many things. You're not just a man who stands in front of an audience. And
we're doing more than talking on stage.
Yeah. You've appeared on Poppy, you've appeared on so many of multi-choice productions. I know this for sure. And your contribution, Search You Boss, one of my favorite shows,
I love that show.
Is also immense. Thank you very much for staying true to yourself and original.
Much appreciated,
man, you're a young lad and I think you're focused. Like, take my advice, man. A few years from now, you don't even need 5, man. You don't even need prayers to say.
I need prayers.
I've been joking.
Prayers always work.
I'm trying to be a comedian, but it's not working out.
No, but it's all good.
So, guys, see you next week as I work on my comedy, skills.
Yeah, we shall give him stage.
And I get from the master himself.
Yes. But if you're not funny, we shall throw bottles. We shall throw.
If I'm not funny, we shall throw bottles through the camera. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning into the show since the other week. See you next week with another incredible guest. Bye.
She picked items, put them in the trolley,
and then started moving out without paying. Isn't that the definition of a thief, my brother? As she was moving out, the security guard, who was a black man, was like, "Hey, excuse me, madam, you gotta pay for that. You can't just leave."